Hello, Sooner Nation. My music did it again. That's about the way I would hope this would start tonight. So we're sitting here. I was so worried about the pronunciation of basketball players. I forgot to get my music right. So,
well, I was thinking about our pod
today. It's a bye week for me too. So,
yeah, as we were about to start, and kind of I'm sure for most of you, the big three Sooner pods you listen to during the middle of the week, you probably listen to Gabe and Teddy, you listen to the Sooner Scoop pod, and you listen to us. And so, hopefully in reverse order, but those two did drop before ours. So now you're completing your trifecta. We're glad that you're here. But going with that, I listened to Gabe and Teddy, and really all they did was talk about, and really not in a great way. I really don't think they really kind of completely thought it out, to be honest with you, of who you should root for if a 9-3 Oklahoma team, is going to make the playoff. And they kind of went through all of that, who we should root for, who we shouldn't. They talked about how it's crap that Notre Dame's ranked above us in Texas because their quality wins over T-Bow. But and then I listened to the start of the Sooner Scoop pod, and it was this Carrie complaining about the network. Well, and then I guess the other big news of the day is Teddy on his radio show when it went off on Jim Traber. So Jeremy and I are here to actually talk about OU football. So congratulations. And as an added bonus, we're going to talk a little OU basketball as well. So there you go. So Jeremy, let's the first thing I think I want to talk about is, there's some talk of certain people, getting healthier, maybe on the offensive line or whatever. But let's just spend a little bit of time on the offensive line to start. Don't you think the 5 we started against Tennessee should just be our 5 going forward? Oh, Jeremy's muted. He is so excited we can't hear him. Okay. But there's been quite a bit of discussion, and Jeremy, if you get your mic to work, just feel free to butt in at any point. But there's been a lot of discussion on. Yep, I heard you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I just got a notification said your mic's unplugged. I'm like, no, it's not. But
yeah.
But no, I'm kind of in the same mindset. Is why would you change your offensive line the way it is now? I mean, the guys that you're replacing them with are guys that are regulars on our injury report. Your guys are probably going to have to pay a lot of money at the end of the year, more than likely, because you're going to get you're going to get a Caden Green type deal. But I think just run with them. They haven't been
literally and figuratively. Just run with them.
Yes, please run with them. That's all I'm asking. No, but really, it's like these guys have not been the reason why our offense has failed. I mean, so why would you change up what you're doing right now? Our offensive lines actually look pretty good, in my opinion, but I don't know what. Since I brought Foj in, to me, it's been a completely. I don't want to say completely different and like this better, all problems solved, but he has done a lot better than the low amount of time that he's had to learn the tackle position. So,
well, and something that's kind of came out this week and something we'd heard about in the past before is Eddie Pierre-Louis just kind of being a wild man. I think we all saw the clip of him, headbutting before the play, and they talk about how Brent in the press conference tonight was talking about just how he's the guy who sprints to every line. He goes through every rep way probably too hard sometimes. And, possibly he could, who knows, maybe he gave what's his face Simmons a concussion the other day. Who knows? Not that we want that to happen, obviously, but at the same time, having a high energy guy like that, especially, on the offensive line where, you're going against NFL talent week in and week out in the SEC, and you've got to have somebody who doesn't care, play like their hair's on fire, that sort of thing. And just really excited for what he brought last week, and was happy to hear from Gabe that, Gabe's been pretty critical of EPL kind of all year. that he was just like, hey, I get it. The guy plays super duper hard. And while he does have some technique to get better, we've all heard the expression for when we played or when we coach, if you're going to screw up going 100 miles an hour. And that's kind of what he does.
Yeah. I mean, and that's really, you just want to see effort. I mean, you want to see guys that give a crap, in my opinion, with the offensive line. I mean, I'm not saying that these guys before him weren't. I mean,
but I mean, how often were we talking about? How often were we talking about, Jeremy, like being frustrated that, you know, and you even made this point a lot of like that's one reason why we're getting hurt is we're getting blown off the ball too much.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, when you get blown off the ball, you're going to get injured. Well, if you're the person flying off the ball, you know, I mean, I think that should give you some, you know, that's never a bad thing to be like, well, you know what? Hey, it's come off the ball too hard. I've never really heard anyone, you know, I've never really heard that expression.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody say, but he just blows him off the line too much and he's too strong. I don't like that.
You know, and this is not our Alabama preview. We'll definitely get more into that next week. But, you know, going with the offensive line theme, going with the running theme, something I think is important for us to think about and realize is this Alabama defense. I mean, this isn't Nick Saban's Alabama, okay? This is Kalen DeBoer's Alabama. And this Alabama gave up 123 yards rushing to Deshaun Bishop, okay, against Tennessee, okay? And we saw what our defense did to him last week, okay? And just want to look at kind of some common opponents. This is an Alabama team that, let's just see what they, you know, they gave up what, you know, over 100 yards. They were outrushed by South Carolina also in a game that they, you know, came back and won by 7. So just because we're playing Alabama doesn't mean we have to abandon the run. Okay. Some teams that may have came up short, but and we have to continue to establish the run. And I think that continuity that's going to come with those same offensive linemen, getting some reps in practice, getting this bye week, I think is an important thing. Brent Venables is 4-1 coming off bye weeks as the head coach at Oklahoma. The one loss was last year against Texas. And, you know, we know as awful as that game was, you know, that was a game we were playing once again without our starting quarterback. And so definitely excited to see continued growth from not only from our line, but from Xavier Robinson in the running game too.
Yeah. And hopefully you can hear me because my microphone keeps going out.
No, you're good.
Okay. One thing that I don't want to see, and I don't want us to try it in the first half like we did against Tennessee, is
tight end pass.
Yeah. Well, no, we can tight end pass now, Jared. No, but I want us to see us pressure. Do not
100%.
Do not get back and prevent. Don't get in the soft coverage. When has been the times that we failed as a defense is when we get in that soft coverage. When we blitz, because what happens when you put pressure on a quarterback? They make mistakes. Oh my God, we pressure Aguilar and he throws 3 picks. That's goes with it. There's a fumble. I mean, it's just like there's so much. To me, it's like there's so many more positives than there is negatives when we blitz, and I think sometimes Brent outsmarts himself in doing that soft coverage, and it's like put the pressure on. I mean, especially with Alabama, you can't.
I mean, that was the big difference, right? And to me, that was the thing that set apart what hurt us against Ole Miss was Chambliss's ability to scramble away from our pressure. We would get our pressure and we would kind of lose contain. He would step up and go run and go get what he had to go get. And Aguilar wasn't able to do that. And so the pressure bothered him obviously more. Because, I mean, here's the deal. If we don't go out and blitz, we're probably down 14-0 last week. And that's a totally different ball game. It's probably not a ball game that we go and win. And I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but I know they flashed some during the ABC broadcast the other night. You know, I think something like both of Aguilar's picks were against pressure. think he was something like 1 for 7 or 2 for 8 or something like that. But it was well below 30% completion. And I agree, Jeremy. I think we have to heat. I think we have to heat him up. And hopefully our Mason Thomas is back. Hopefully Kobe McKenzie is back. Hopefully we've got a full complement on defense. But we do have the depth there where no matter who's there, I'm excited to see that. I think Gentry will be back, and just to see the full complement of our defense going down there in Tuscaloosa. Plus, I think we get a break playing that game at 2:30.
Oh, for sure. I thought there was no way that game wouldn't be a night game. I will tell you, I am rooting for Alabama this weekend because I do not want them to get beat by LSU, be nice and pissed off when they play us.
No, I mean, it's the whole Texas losing the Florida thing. It's deja vu all over again, if that happens.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm curious to see what LSU looks like. I think that's one thing that I'm going to watch a lot this weekend on the bye week is these teams that lost their head coaches like Auburn, LSU. How are they going to respond? Because there's going to be one of two things happen. They're either just going to give up or they're going to play for the interim who's there. And let's hope
they take the Oklahoma State philosophy of just absolutely mailing it in and everyone entering the portal.
In OSU's defense, they could have Saban there. I don't think they're winning any games. It's like and I'm not this. I know I'm wearing a shirt that says because Stillwater sucks, but I'm not trying to just get on to this bandwagon of OSU hate. Is it hilarious to me? Yes. But that said, and this isn't just because I don't like them, I don't think I've ever seen a team go down as fast as what OSU has.
Yeah.
I mean, would you disagree with that? Isn't it just insane that they went from –
It is.
I feel like they literally sold their soul to win that last Bedlam game. And it feels
that's truly what what it was. So, without a doubt. It just makes absolutely no sense. I mean, it's just like they just absolutely gave up, and it's just wild. Speaking of people whose stars are falling, you mentioned Auburn getting fired. I did see that DJ Durkin, who honestly does a really good job as Auburn's defensive coordinator. Certainly I hope and pray that BV decides to continue to call plays going forward. But I would not mind if we do go hire just an outside guy as a defensive coordinator. I think DJ Durkin's done a really good job at Auburn, keeping them in all these football games.
Yeah.
Just a name to remember as we get to the coaching carousel later on down the road. But he came out and said that they're not going to start Jackson Arnold at quarterback. They were going to start. I was like, I wonder why.
It's bad whenever it's just like that. He had to make sure everybody knew that.
It's like, look, don't.
Before we get going any further, I just want everybody to know Jackson Arnold will not be our quarterback. Did you have to point it out like that? So.
Yeah. It's like, whoa, what?
We have kicked Jackson Arnold off the team if anybody was wondering. Like, God of mercy.
Yeah.
Give the kid a chance. Don't you feel like Jackson's probably going to transfer again?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I think it was Eddie talking on the unofficial 40. Maybe he would look at North Texas just because it's closer to home.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think
because North Texas quarterback's probably going to be somewhere big next year. He's had a really big.
I would suggest Jackson Arnold not be in the SEC if it was me.
I would not advise that.
Go to the ACC. That seems to be a dumpster fire. So
yes,
or Big 12 even that might be good.
Not to just steal the shine from another pod, and I don't want us to go through as deep on this. We'll touch more on it as it gets closer and gets more relevant. Right now, Jeremy and I are still holding out that the Sooners go 10-2 as we predicted at the start of the season.
Yeah, I don't need to look at any scenarios. I know
we're not worried about those scenarios. We know at 10-2 we're in the playoff, and I did find it interesting. I saw a deal today that there is a scenario where it could be us in Texas in the SEC championship game, and really nothing was really that out of the blue, except Mississippi State would have to beat Ole Miss. But, I mean, even then, I don't think that's the absolute craziest thing in the world. But we're not saying that's going to happen. But if the logarithm just heard me say Oklahoma versus Texas and wants to shoot that back out there to all of our Texas brethren, you can timestamp this at about the 15-minute mark, where I once again
maybe I'll put that on our description for our YouTube channel.
Yes, exactly. But again, I do want to point out too, speaking of our Texas brethren and all that, was not the showing of our viewership that the losses were, but this was our most viewed winning post-game podcast. Yeah. So we do appreciate that. Yeah. We do appreciate the new subscribers. So hopefully you're still enjoying the product. But going into what I was about to say, Jeremy, thinking about this, I think the big thing we all really need to root for is Notre Dame getting beat at some point, right? I mean, because as ridiculous as it is, 2-loss Notre Dame's going to get in. Even
we might need them to lose twice if we're going to go 9-3.
So we all need to be big Navy fans this weekend. I think their more losable game is at Pitt next week. So let's hope they take a loss. And beyond that, we just need the ACC and the Big 12 to be one bid leagues.
And also too, we need Ole Miss, and I mean, I hate to say it, we need Texas to.
We either need Texas to win out or just dumpster fire it out. We don't need to have the same record as Texas, without a doubt.
Did you look at them when they compared resumes to Notre Dame and us and Texas?
Yeah.
I mean, if you can, it just shows you Notre Dame is put in a different class. Why would Notre Dame ever want to go to a conference?
Right.
That's what's so funny. People are like, they need to go to a conference. I'm like, why would they ever?
Well, until they're made to. I mean, letting Notre Dame do what they did would be like, look, if you let Baker choose his meal options every day, okay, I'm going to venture out. There's not a lot of salads. There's not a lot of, vegetables, or he would drink a lot of pop and, all that sort of thing. I mean, if you get to do what you want, you're going to do it until someone says you can't. And so they're going to continue doing what they want. And that's printing money and making the college football playoff. But, okay, Jeremy, any other football thoughts here before, it seems like we still got some positive momentum going recruiting-wise. Everything I've heard going on there, we were able to flip a couple of people from some of the poaching. And, again, I've harped on this point before, and I want to hit on this again. And we'll obviously have a lot more time to talk about this in the offseason. But remember, all these other coaches getting fired is good for us in the fact of that's money in the ethos that's being spent on buyouts and coaches' contracts that's not going to be spent on players, because we want to, and I think hopefully we see we've got to spend a little more on some players to get where we really, really want to be. And some of that's keeping our own players.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I think just watching the injuries, I'm not optimistic our Mason Thomas is going to be ready for Alabama, but I do think Kobe and Gentry are big additions to that defense. Way Eli Bowen's playing, Guillory, if he's somebody that they're just kind of subbing in and out, I think will be good. And that's another thing. Guillory has not played bad. And
absolutely not, guys.
And I think there's a lot of focus on some of his pass interference, but what a lot of people don't understand is sometimes you get burnt, and it's smarter to take the 15 rather than the 40. Yeah, it's like it's just watching the game sometimes. And it's like, and people see one bad play, and they're like, the other 40 that he played good on, they didn't throw at him.
Have we not seen Saban-era Alabama corners do the exact same thing Cortland Guillory did and it not be a DPI for the last, for 10 years? We did. We have.
Not to mention, one of them wasn't even a pass interference. I thought he got screwed on one of those. So.
Yeah, no, it was 10 feet over his head. There's no way that ball was catchable. But, it is what it is. If you're selling Cortland Guillory stock, let Jeremy and I know, and we'll buy it.
Yeah, I'd probably get a low.
Now, I did see some deal where his mom was going after some people on Twitter because some people were mouth. Don't freaking go after parents on Twitter. And if you're a parent listening to this, just get off Twitter. Not just our fan base, but all fan bases are toxic. Okay. So we love our fan base, especially our subscribers, and we'd love even more. But just understand, parents, I mean, your son is a professional athlete at this point.
Yeah.
You're getting those NIL checks. And some of that goes with that is, with anybody, when you don't perform as well at your job, there's going to be some negative consequences. And that's
and not to mention, they said that she is like one of the best. She's one of the best like followers on Sooner Scoop, and they said that they were telling him what he needed to quit on his, or they say he needed to quit getting so many defensive passes or tackle better. That's what it was.
Yes.
He needs to tackle better, and her reply was, "I've been talking to him about that."
Yes. So
that sounds like something my mom would say.
I told Jeremy not to do that.
Just tackle better. Get his legs. That's better.
Yes. Now, Jeremy, why don't you get a base hit every time and make all your baskets? It'd be real nice.
Yeah, you don't need to pass as much.
Yes. You know what? I like you shooting.
I know you're shooting 20%. Okay. But I just
shout out, Jonathan.
I just feel like on the injury front, especially on the defensive side of the ball, I'm kind of curious a little bit about the running game. I think Blaylock got banged up a little bit.
I do too.
But also too, I think you're just riding Xavier right now. I think they just
in a shocking turn of events, actually giving the ball to your hot hand is a smart decision. So
yeah, but no, I just think it's a. I think
Xavier Robinson wasn't healthy at the first part of the year either. I don't
either. No, I don't either.
I do think that's part of it. And so that's I think that.
You know that Jaden Ott's like not coming in.
No, we don't worry about that one. So he's just cashing them checks and getting the crap out of here.
Yeah, watch him like come out against Alabama and go for like 350.
Hey, we'll take it. We'll take it. Speaking of things we'll take, we are back in the twilight zone that is OU basketball is undefeated in the non-conference.
Yeah.
Okay. But
we have been doing some practice on pronouncing some of these guys' names.
Qualtech is Qualtech. No big deal. Just Qualtech. It looks like Qual Attack. That's not it. Qualtech. Okay. So we don't need to do that. But he was really, really big in the second half the other night. But we also had the OU tradition of we look really, really crummy for a half against one of these teams, and then we wonder if we're going to win a game. But play Gonzaga on Saturday night. So that's going to be interesting to see. But the floor is yours, Jeremy, just to talk a little hoops.
Hey, like I said, I will not get excited about anything this OU basketball team does until the conference season rolls around. But I do like the ball movement that I saw. They've got shooters.
Yeah,
it seems like, and I mean, I guess we shot the ball okay the non-con last year, but it just seems like we got a bunch of guys that can shoot the ball, move the ball around. Like, I know who.
Here's the deal. Like, I mean, Nigel Pack and I guess Xavier Brown. Mm-hmm. Nigel Pack, I mean, and he's been in lots of different schools. You might remember from K-State, you might remember Miami, wherever. But like, these are professional basketball players, okay? And him and Brown were both guys that everybody kind of wanted in the portal. And these are going to give us those old type players that are just experienced. When we went and played some of these SEC teams last year, and as good as Spears was, sometimes it was like, man, you can just tell how young he is. And and having that, and like you said, the depth that we see, this looked to me like the other night, and we're going to know a lot more after Saturday, but this looked to me the other night like definitely the deepest team of the portal Moser. Portal Moser is what he is right now. Well, the reason I say that is John Rothstein. If you're a college basketball fan, you obviously follow John Rothstein. If you don't, follow him. And part of his shtick is, he sells these T-shirts of different coaches. And as OU fans, we've always kind of wanted it to work with Porter Moser because we think Portal Moser sounds really cool in the portal deal, and he did go ahead and release that the other day. So we were all kind of excited. So maybe you'll see a Portal Moser T-shirt. If we get the win Saturday, I might go buy one. So we'll just see. Or maybe better yet,
not to mention Rogers was hurt too. Like we didn't have one of our up and coming like best players probably this season didn't even play. So, and it worries me too. Hopefully they don't redshirt him.
Yeah.
I have a slight worry about that. There's no reason in basketball you should ever redshirt a kid if he's ready to play. Yeah. And that's my soapbox, and I will stay on that soapbox.
But, I didn't think redshirting would ever happen, but we are looking at two, that did, that did with OU. And because we talked about Cool, Tuck. We talked about him just a minute ago, and he redshirted last year. And Jeff in Waco also redshirted last year. And both those guys, if you'd have told me they would be in a Sooner uniform this year, I'd have probably called you a liar. But again, I think that does speak positively to the culture that Porter is building. As much as Jeremy and I would be critical of him, we like Porter Moser. We want that culture to get better. If you listen to our pod with Ryan Spengler, I think some of the steps that he talked about that needed to take have taken place in this offseason, and seeing a little more connection there. So hopefully good things are coming. But, check out the Sooners on Saturday night against Gonzaga.
Yeah, it'll be we basically scheduled that game because we had a bye in football. That's a smart move.
Yeah, hey,
but no, I want Porter Moser to succeed. I'm an OU fan, and also too, I talk so much mess about him, but I do like the guy. He is, to me, he's a good basketball coach. It just SEC's hard. It is a hard freaking conference.
14 of the 16 teams made it to the tournament last year.
Not to mention we made the tournament and we were wanting to fire his ass.
So,
that is what it is.
Also, our women are top 5-ish, somewhere in that.
The women are going to be good. Like women
one poll where we're 4, one poll where we're 5, another poll where we're 6. But they've got a big game coming up before we're on again. They play UCLA in one of those neutral floor games. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But in case you're curious, Chavez had 16 in her first game. Didn't shoot it great. She was just 5 of 18 from the field, so hopefully got some of those jitters out. But Reagan Beer's still good at basketball. She had 29 and 10. And so they had 4 starters in double figures. So
that team just needs to keep it afloat.
I think they're a wagon.
They just need to keep it afloat till Chavez and Beers
gets their sea legs, and that's a potential Final Four team without a doubt. So
and Jenny Brashek, that was a home run hire. You can talk about all the hires that Joe Castiglione whiffed on, and he's horrible, but that's a home run hire in my opinion.
No, without a doubt.
No problem hiring good coaches in the women's side of it.
No, definitely without a doubt. So putting a bow on everything, obviously we will not have a post-game pod on Saturday because we don't have a football game. Unless that OU Gonzaga basketball game is just some epic thing that goes 7 overtimes, or Qualtech scores 84 points off the bench, or something like that. Jeremy and I will pop on for emergency pod there. But other than that, we'll see you next week, guys. Again, thanks to all of our new subscribers.
It's a bye week. Let's get our subscriber number up. 155. When we started this, if you had told me we would have had 155 subscribers on YouTube, I thought, why would anybody want to listen to us, let alone subscribe to us? But like we've said many times, we enjoy doing it. It is literally just me and Goss talking to each other like we usually do. Now we just film it. So it is, we enjoy it. And so we appreciate all the support. So keep subscribing to YouTube. Follow us on Spotify and Apple. Let's keep raising those numbers, and get ready for Alabama next week.
Yep. Soonercast@gmail.com. If you got a question, got anything you want us to look into, I'll be back next week with famous alumni stats and all the fun stuff that you hopefully look forward to. Have a great week, everybody. Boomer.
Boomer Sooner.